Every move up will make you feel as though you're in over your head. You will be tested. What will determine your success is if it matters to you. Hey guys, this week we're taking a look at Your Next 5 Moves. Master the Art of Business Strategy. This is by Patrick Bet-David with Greg Dinkin. So if you know me, if you've watched any of my other videos and stuff, you might be wondering, your next 5 moves. Master the Art of Business Strategy. Why are you reading that? And I will tell you the only reason that, well, I shouldn't say it. There's stuff you can learn from any book, of course, but this isn't a book that I would normally read. I am an entrepreneur, but I'm a musician, and this book is mostly about being an entrepreneur, building a company more, where for me, I'm more building myself. I'm not as much in it for the money and stuff like that. Not that anyone who's an entrepreneur is either, but this isn't probably on the top of the expected reading for me. The only reason that I picked up this book is because of the author, Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David is so influential on me just as a person, and I don't know him personally, but I've learned so much from him from his YouTube channel, actually, Valuetainment, which will be linked below. So Patrick Bet-David, that guy, seriously check out the YouTube channel, because it's just great. But anyways, I'll just read a little bit of this. He went from escaping war-torn Iran. He's from Iran. He's an immigrant. He went to, it doesn't say it in here, but he lived in Germany for a while, and then he went to California for a while. But lots of hardships that he went through, and now he runs PHP. He's the CEO of PHP, an insurance company. And he also is the CEO, founder of Valuetainment, which is one of the best like educational YouTube platforms that there is. He's fantastic. Seriously, check him out. I've watched so many interviews. He has a podcast now too. He does other little videos where he gives his opinions on things. Just check out the channel. It is fantastic. Seriously. I don't know why you're wasting your time on my channel. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but check out Valuetainment. It is one of my favorite YouTube channels right now. It's so good. Anyways, that's who wrote this. He has a few other books. I've been following Patrick for maybe a year. I'd say I've been kind of following him for like 2 years, where I would watch every once in a while. I got into him. I found one of his mobster that he'll interview famous old guys in the mob. I watched him a few videos here and there, but then I started really getting into him over the past year or so, and I just watch nearly every video that comes out. So if you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of this dude. Let's talk a little bit about his book though. So this is Your Next 5 Moves, as I said. So getting into that, there's 5 sections, crazy enough, about the 5 moves. So those 5 moves: master knowing yourself, master the ability to reason, master building the right team, master strategy to scale, and master power plays. So that's kind of how the book is broken down. There's 2, 3, maybe 4 chapters within each of those categories. And the cool thing about this too is he puts so many personal stories in here and anecdotes and analogies. It's really cool. He's a big sports guy, so there's lots of sports analogies in here. There's analogies from his own life, which is really fascinating, from when he quit his job. It's just really, really great stuff. One other cool thing was in here is Chapter 14, Study Mobsters, How to Sell, Negotiate, and Influence. So it shows you can really learn from anyone. We're learning about the mob, how they... It's really cool. That was one of my favorite chapters just because I thought it was so interesting. And this book is great for entrepreneurs and also intrapreneurs. So entrepreneurs, if you want to be the CEO, and then intrapreneurs who want to be high up but within a company helping build a company from within. So not necessarily you're in charge, but you are one of the leaders within that company. So this is great for that. The only thing I'll say about this book, I loved it. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Patrick Bet-David. If I wasn't a huge fan of Patrick Bet-David, I don't know if I would have loved it as much. There's still definitely anyone can read this book and get a lot of information out of it. But I will say there are a few chapters in here that I didn't find personally like super useful. Like, for example, there's one about like building a team and stuff like that. Now, there are things that I have pulled from those sections for sure, but the bulk of what he's trying to show you is how to build your team, you know, who to hire, who to fire, stuff like that, which is interesting. And like I said, there's stuff you can pull from that, but it's not necessarily for me per se as what I want to do with my career. But like I said, you can pull anything from any book. Any of these books I've got on here, even these stupid Star Wars books that I read, you can pull stuff from them, right? And I also want to mention too, this book is very real. It doesn't sugarcoat much stuff. You know, there's so many times in here that says, you know, sometimes it's not for everyone, right? Let me find one quote in here. Let me just read this. This is from chapter 1, I believe. Being an entrepreneur is high risk and high return, both personally and financially. Most people only pay attention to the final product of a successful entrepreneur. People don't see what he or she has overcome. All the struggles, the betrayals, the empty bank accounts. Being home at 6 o'clock to have dinner with your family is not always going to happen when you are an entrepreneur. Depending on the size of your vision, maybe you can pull it off most nights. But if you're going to be a disruptor and build a multinational conglomerate, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifice. So it says a lot here. You know, what that really is saying is, whatever field, it doesn't have to be just entrepreneurial, but for me as a musician, for example, if I want to be on the top 1%, lots and lots of sacrifices need to be made, because other people might be willing to make those sacrifices that you're not. And they frankly deserve it more than you, right? So this book is very real. It says it like it is. You got to put it in the work, and you got to put in the efficient work too. And that efficiency is kind of help you learn a little bit of that, how to do that within this book. And you know, frankly, being at the top, sometimes it sucks. It's not all great. You know, I think of a guy like Jeff Bezos. Everyone's ripping on him and stuff, but it's like, I don't know how much he loves his life. I'm sure some of it's great. Like, the richest man in the world probably has an okay life, but it's also probably pretty stressful, right? And this book doesn't really get into that as much, but it definitely shows, you know, you gotta work, and it's gonna suck a lot as being an entrepreneur. So just be aware of that too. It's a great book though. Gets into that. One thing I have to say though, this has nothing to do with the contents or anything. So I read every day while I'm on the treadmill. So it's funny looking through these when I do these videos, because my lines are just like, I underline so much of these books. I don't know if as I page through you can kind of see what I do, but I just underline stuff. Sometimes it's just like squigglies. But anyways, the book is all white, and I don't know how well this will pick up on camera, but from where I hold it, it's like kind of deteriorating from the sweat on my hands and stuff. And there's marks on it. Why would you make a white book, Patrick? Why you gotta do me like that? Luckily, the sleeve or whatever on it looks nice, but a white book? Come on, man. It's just a little aside. Doesn't really matter at all. But this book is fantastic. I highly recommend it if you are going to be like an entrepreneur or something like that. You're going into the business world. This is a must-read. Speaking of must-reads, Patrick Bet-David is one of the most well-read people that I know. In the back of his book, he has a list. I think it's 52. He has a full list. Recommended reading. PBD's top 52 business books. He has it all laid out right here. I think this list is on his website as well. I'll link that below if you want to check that out. But other books, so I've got a lot of reading to do. I probably won't read all of these just because some of them don't, you know what I mean. I might not read all of them. But this book is seriously a must-read if you're an entrepreneur. If you're a fan of Patrick Bet-David, it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading his future books, hopefully, and maybe getting into his backlog eventually as well. I think he has a few other books out. So anyways, this is a great book. I highly recommend it. So, it deserves, or it has a well-deserved spot on my shelf. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, thumbs up, subscribe, and bell button so you don't miss any of my other videos. Comment below if you have any reading suggestions. Always looking for others to read. Let me know in the comments below too if you read this book and how you felt about it. My Goodreads is also linked below. I filmed these way in advance. I'm reading something else right now, so if you want a more up-to-date, you can check that out or not. It's Goodreads. I don't really care if you check it out or not. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.